What is going on, everybody? My name is the Legendary LaShawn, and I am back at you with another legendary video. As you can see, playing some Street Fighter 6 in the background, and I know that I haven't been making videos for a while. I have no idea when my last video is, to be honest. But part of the reason for that is because honestly, I didn't know what I wanted my channel to be, right? And I'm not trying to do anything that's like, too crazy with it. And I don't know if I'll ever make like, YouTube or anything like that a full-time job or whatever else. But I wanted my channel to definitely have some meaning. And the reason why that is because, I was born in '96, and I know I'm an old man. I'm a unk, I guess, as the kids would say. So when I was coming up, when it came to fighting games, my first experience with a fighting game was at my barbershop. My barbershop had an arcade cabinet for Street Fighter Alpha 3, right? And so when I first played the game, I saw Blanka, and it looked so interesting because, oh, this guy is spiraling all across the stage. He's, what is it called? Shooting electric everywhere and all this other stuff. He could do all these crazy things and stuff. Like, he looked like a cool character, right? And I was playing Blanka for a minute. But then I saw Cody. And I saw this dude that was uppercutting tornadoes, and he was throwing rocks and stuff, breaking Hadokens with the rocks and all this crazy stuff. Like, he was really strong. And that became, like, my favorite fighting game character. Go figure, right? And so that was my first experience with a fighting game. And then, oddly enough, from there, actually, that's actually not true. My first experience with a fighting game was actually Virtual Fighter 4, I believe, and I would always play it with Drunken Master. So that's actually technically my first experience with the fighting game. I had it on the PS2. That's what it was. Virtual Fighter 4 on the PS2. And I love that guy. I think I played as Kage. I forgot the Drunken Master's name. I played as him, but it was always a good time. And then from that, I went to Street Fighter Alpha in my barbershop. And then for a while, I wasn't really playing fighting games because I didn't really, I wasn't really into them like as heavy as I am now, right? And I didn't get that deep into it. But that all changed once Street Fighter 4 came out. And I remember seeing the first trailer for Street Fighter 4. I don't care what nobody says. The intro music, the intro theme, the intro video for Street Fighter 4 is the best intro for a fighting game I think that I have ever seen. That is my favorite, hands down, fighting game intro ever. Now, of course, that's my opinion, and of course, if you guys want to tell me yours, then tell me in the comments, right? And so once that came out, it was this big shift, right? If anybody remembers, because when fighting games, I guess, first started and stuff like that, there wasn't really much information about them except for, like, magazines, or if somebody chose to make, like, a video about it. And I don't mean, like, a video, like a YouTube video. I mean, like, television, like, maybe X-Play or something like that or whatever else. And, you had to look up, your cheat codes or how to get secret characters, or, a Street Fighter Alpha. They literally had this laminated, binder full of, like, secrets and stuff like that. And so one thing I always like to do in Alpha was playing it on, I think it was called dynamic mode. And so when I was playing Cody, it would be me and Guy would be versus the world, right? And that joint was so dope. It was like one of my favorite things in that game. But you didn't really have much information until Street Fighter 4 came out, and the addition of things like YouTube and the internet kind of being fully flushed out. So now with YouTube and the internet, we had things like Mike Ross and Gootecks, Excellent Adventures. We had, things like Capcom Pro Talk, people like Flo making videos, and, different people in different communities making videos. So, there was videos about Tekken. There was, like, some gameplay from, other games and all of this cool stuff, right? And so once that changed, there became not an oversaturation, but right now where we're at is definitely a flooding of the market of the fighting game land space, right? Landscape, I should say, and also for content creators, right? Because like I said, once upon a time, it was mainly just maybe YouTube and I don't know, maybe like a gameplay video on XPlay or something like that, if anybody remembers that. But other than that, there really wasn't too much that you could do to find, like, you know, different information and tutorials about maybe your character or matchup knowledge or whatever else. You know what I'm saying? And so it was, you know, kind of difficult for certain people that were casual, but maybe like certain thing about fighting games to really get into it because they didn't really have the information. Now, you know, we have YouTube, but we also have Twitter, you know, where people could just share that information directly instead of putting it out to, like, you know, a wide audience. I mean, still pretty wide because it's the internet. And then you also have different things like, you know, TikTok, you have Instagram. I know for my Instagram algorithm, it's a lot of, like, you know, nerdy stuff. It's a lot of anime, comic books, drawing, art, you know, and fighting game stuff. So, like, you know, I'm always getting shorts of, like, you know, FGC moments and Evo moments and, you know, fighting game terminology being described and all of that good stuff. And so, you know, it's a much better landscape, but, you know, there's so much that is out there that it's kind of hard to stand out or to kind of carve your own space, right? And so that's part of the reason why I was figuring out what I wanted to do with this channel. And I figured out that kind of what I want it to be is a nice chill space for people to kind of just talk and to be able to share, you know, different opinions, and for me to be able to maybe talk to you know, casual people that might feel a certain way about fighting games that's really, you know, interested in it, but, you know, maybe a little scared. Maybe they're, you know, a little afraid. And the reason why I think that maybe I can stand out is because I am a casual myself. You know what I'm saying? I've gone to maybe, you know, a couple of tournaments here and there just at my local places and stuff like that. You know, but I'm not, like, you know, traveling around the world or even traveling around the country to go to different tournaments and stuff, but I just really enjoy it. Like, it's just something that is really fun to me, because I like the characters, because I like the story, you know, I like the world that is created in these various fighting games, right? And so I figured out that that's what I want this channel to be. I want it to be a nice chill space where everybody could just kind of hang out and relax, and also, you know, talk about the things that maybe are stopping them from progressing, or maybe the things that, you know, make it a little bit difficult for them, right? And there's so many different things, right? So even like for a video like this, you know, right now I'm going up against a Blanka. And Blanka's a pretty crazy character, right? He's literally throwing himself at you. I tried to get a drink right there because I saw how far away he was from me. And I got essentially, I mean, not fully punished. I guess I could have did a DP or something. But, you know, I got command grabbed for it. And so for a lot of people, fighting somebody that's like, you know, kind of unga bunga, as they would call it, which is Blanka's archetype, can be very difficult, right? And one of the tips that I would give you, as somebody who is a casual but that really enjoys this stuff, right, is take your time. But not just take your time, but also calm down. Realize that, you know, if you are somebody who, you know, you have your 9 to 5, you have, you know, a normal life and everything else like that, the points that you see where it says MR, all of that stuff, that doesn't matter to people like me and you. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't matter to people that don't have anything that's really invested, right? Take a look at your investment that you have. What are you putting in? If you're just trying to get a W, or if you're just trying to, you know, enjoy your character or whatever else, then don't sweat the loss, right? Because it's not like you're really losing anything when it comes to it. Now, I know what you're probably going to say, that, yo, that is such a noob thing to say, because it's easier said than done. And of course it is, right? Of course it is. Who wants to get their face pounded in as they are trying to just figure out a game, right? I know that that was a really big concern when it came to, what was it called? Invincible Versus? That a lot of people were saying that, you know, the tryhards and the sweats were making the game unfun. You know, they weren't having a good time and stuff like that, and that there was a lot of rage quitting. I get it. I understand, and I feel where it's coming from, right? But here's the problem. Any of my people out there who maybe like anime, who are into stories of triumph, you know, the Mighty Ducks, or, you know, what's another one? You know, like Mike, or Space Jam, or whatever else, right? You know, Story of Ali, all that good stuff, right? Or if you're into anime, one thing that you have to realize is that when it comes to fighting games, you know what, actually, quick sidetrack. In my opinion, I would say that fighting games are the best genre in the gaming industry. And this is just my opinion, but here is why. You technically never are truly beating the game, right? Let's say that you pay $70, of course, because that's how much games cost now. You're paying $70, right? So normally you get like a story mode. If you take Street Fighter 6, right? You get World Tour, where you have this mode where you can travel around the world. You could create your own character, first of all, your own Street Fighter character that has a fusion of different moves from all of the cast that are included in the game. You can meet all of these people. You can learn their story. You can learn their techniques, all that good stuff, right? You have that. Then you also have some interesting modes when it comes to the extreme modes. You know, you have little stuff like, you know, the little mode with the bomb and all that other stuff, or with the characters from Mega Man that make it really cool. On top of that, you also get Capcom games, old Capcom arcade games, I should say, right? But one of the main functions of a lot of fighting games is the online, right? What's one of the big functions when it comes to normal games? It's fighting the boss, right? Fighting, like, you know, the final level boss. With fighting games, essentially, you're getting a final boss every time that you play somebody, because you don't know anything about this person, you don't know how they're going to play the character, and you don't know how they're going to express all the different tools that this character has. So it's like fighting a boss, you know, it's like fighting a mini boss, or maybe, you know, if you're fighting like a well-known player, then like, you know, a big boss anytime that you get online and stuff, right? And so if you look at it from that perspective, you're really getting more bang for your buck, especially when, you know, these games cost $70, $80. You know, we don't know how much GTA 6 is going to cost, because people are being idiots and saying that they have no problem paying $100 for GTA, and I really wish that people were smart. But anyway, right? You know, when you're paying this much for a game, I want to be able to get as much as I can out of it, you know, because not everybody has the money to be able to just spend $70 or $80, you know, maybe every month, maybe, you know, who knows, maybe every couple of months or whatever else. People got bills, people got kids, and so they may not want to do all of that. They might not be able to, you know what I'm saying? And so when you come at it from, or look at it from that type of lens, it's a really good product from a consumer standpoint, you know what I'm saying? And so because of that, it's something worth investing your time in, you know what I'm saying? Because it's something that you can always come back to, and especially now with there being different updates and stuff like that, the game is always changing, right? But for you to have an enjoyable time, and for you to be able to get something back from it, not just, you know, getting angry or getting pissed off at the game and stuff like that, you have to be able to chill. You have to be able to take your time. You have to have a thirst for knowledge, I would say, and you have to be willing to learn the hard way, right? Even if you look at what just happened to me, you know, based upon what I've been seeing from this Blanca player, this is a player that kind of likes to do a lot of crazy stuff. He kind of likes to hop around a lot, right? And so unfortunately I made the bad decision of neutral jumping, and he got me with the DP, but even still, I didn't stop. You know what I'm saying? I still stayed on him, and I'm trying to make sure that I keep him in that corner, right? And so these are kind of just the little things that kind of help you to be able to get more from your fighting games. But that is going to do it for this video. I didn't want to spend too long. I just wanted to reintroduce myself. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed everything that you have seen and heard. If you did, then comment below. If you didn't, then comment below. Give me a thumbs down, a thumbs up, all that good stuff. I hope to see you next time. Have a good day.